Hi, this is Chris Pinto with a short video to demo how photogrammetry and Open Drone Map, or ODM, can be utilized to plan, organize, and document vegetation treatment projects. We're looking at my drone map server here. ODM is an open source software. I have this established ODM server, and it can be accessed from the web. Here I'm remotely connected to the ODM server from a remote Windows 10 laptop. All data sets for a given project can be exported and shared electronically from the ODM site. An ODM project can map large areas by combining multiple tasks into a single project. Here's an example. I'll use the Angora Creek project because it has, as you can see, two tasks, 1 and 2. And to give you a sense of how projects can consist of multiple tasks to map a wide area, let's take a look at the Angora Creek map so I can show you. And there it is. So you can see the two projects. And if I open up the layers, you can turn them on and off. Turning off Angora Creek 2, turning it back on. But what I really wanted to show you this for is so you can see that this is one project with two tasks. We could add, say, 3 more tasks in here to cover this creek all the way down to View Court. And so one project would contain then 5 tasks covering a wider area. Now let's open the Grizzly Grant project. Let's see. Here it is. And you can see there's just one task in here. And it consists of 480 images. And it took about 24 hours to process this map. And the photos were taken on 11/9/24. Let's take a look at the map. And we'll look at the ortho photo here. Here's a high resolution ortho photo. And there's a lot of utility to it. So I just want to quickly go through that with you. First, on the Layers tab, if you click the camera, it shows you where all the photos were taken from. But not only that, you could click on a particular shot, and there it is. You can download the image. You can open the file. And now you're looking at a high resolution photo from that the drone took as part of that map. And you can see it's only at 71% of its size. If you bump it up to full size or 100%, it doesn't fit on the screen. Just letting you know, these are extremely large photos. They're high resolution. You could actually even zoom in to see how close in you can get without degrading. So anyway, all of these photos are available for download from the project. Next, you can see that, this is not a big deal, but you can adjust the raise the shadows, add shadows, or you can blow it out and add highlights so you can see deeper down, add light or highlights to the map if you want to. That's what this meter is all about. And then finally, you can go ahead and export this map electronically and share it. Probably the most common format would be the JPEG format to export it in. Moving on, knowing this is a map, you can change the base map. Here it is on a street map look, for example. And if we had multiple tasks, they would all be lined up along on this map next to each other. It also gives you the ability to measure, which is really kind of important. So I'll quickly do a measurement, show you how that works. Let's just measure the width. And now we'll finish it. and this tells us that it's 166 feet wide. We could do the length. You can also, let's remove this measurement. You can also, in measurement, you can measure area. So if you just did a shapefile around this, it could tell you how big it is. I know this is about 1 acre already, but so measurement is quite a handy. You can also add contours in for the showing the steepness of the slope. It takes a while to populate that, so we won't actually do it now. And then also, that what's kind of cool here is the opacity. You can adjust the opacity on this so you can reduce it and increase it, and you can go full screen. So let's do both of those. That's full screen. So if you want to make it larger, there it's getting bigger. And then if you want to in, increase or decrease the opacity, you just move the slider so you can start to show your overlay and then remove it. And one thing that's kind of interesting here is if you put them side by side and zoom in a bit and compare the maps, you're going to see the resolution is much better on the orthophoto than it is on the Google Maps. And then, the final thing is, remember, everything is exportable on all of these maps, the ortho, the plant health, the surface models, terrain models. They're all exportable. You just click on it and you can export them here. You can take it as an orthophoto, terrain model, surface model, point cloud, textured model. You get quality report. All this stuff exports and prints out of this or shares digitally. So next, I would like to look at a key component to assist that you would use to assist with the planning of any HazVeg project, which would be a plant health map. And so let's populate that in. Here's a plant health map. It's analyzed on a scale of -1 to 1 using the normalized difference vegetation index, or NDVI. NDVI provides an accurate indication of the presence of chlorophyll in a leaf structure, which correlates with plant health, which can determine when vegetation is dehydrated, sick, afflicted with disease, etc. I'm going to show you a quick chart that better sums up what I just said. And here it is. I mean, it goes from -1 to +1. And this shows you along the chart, if it's -1 to 0, it's really dead plants or inanimate objects. If it's 0 to -0.33, then it's an unhealthy plant. If it's -0.33 to, or excuse me, 0.33 to 0.66, it's a moderately healthy plant. And finally, very healthy plant is 0.66 to 1. So with all that going on, if you look at this particular, you can see there's a lot of dead vegetation or inanimate material in here, mostly dead vegetation. The reds is really dead. The dark golden is pretty much dead or very sick. And the greens and the very light yellows are more, are moderate to healthy vegetation. So there's not a lot in here. And if you can slide the opacity, you can see why is that healthy in those spots? And you can see it's shaded from the south exposure, it's shaded by those trees. And so it's the lower vegetation down there that's healthy and was shaded during the hot months of the year more so than the other vegetation. Same up in here. This is probably a little more shaded up in here, especially right over in here if you look at it. But anyway, that is it. It has all the same utility as the orthophoto. You can export it as a JPEG or in any of the other formats. You can change the base map. You can do measurements, add contours, slide it, put it on a full screen or off. But that is the plant health map. Um, Next up is the surface model. The surface model measures surface elevation difference in meters. This is set up in meters. I don't like this color scheme. Let's change it to jet. I find that much more easy to use. And there it is. So this is a surface model. And again, it measures surface elevation differences in meters. And on the scale, you can see the difference on this map is from 476 meters on the high side to 444. I think that's a difference of 32. So the reds, these are the highest. They're about 32 meters higher than this lowest points, which are these blues. Um, Again, the surface models have all the same utility. You can export here. You can change the base map. You can measure, add contours, change the opacity, look at it in big screen, and you can export all of the assets here. Um, so let's move on to the terrain model. It's much like the surface model, except it removes all the surface materials and now it's just the terrain. And what this does is, excuse me, let me change this. I want to put this, let me put this onto the jet color scheme again, because I just prefer that. But the terrain model is void of the surface materials, trees and such, and it's just telling you the elevation difference of the surface. Or the terrain. And so, excuse me, the terrain elevation differences, void of surface materials. And it's the same thing. It's measured in meters. And of course, in this, 470 is the high point and 444. So that's a difference of what, 26 or something, 26 meters. And so the reds are about 26 meters higher than the deepest blues down here, the difference in elevation. Uh, Again, the terrain map has all the same utilities. You can export, you can change the base map, measure contours, opacity, full screen. And there's one final feature now that I want to show you that's available in this ODM photogrammetry package, and that is um, a 3D model, which is kind of cool, but I'm not sure if the utility is as great, but we'll take a look at it anyway. So we'll click on 3D model here, and then we have to texture it. So you go here and you click on the texture, and this takes just a sec, and it'll texture the model for us. And I'm sure it's almost done now. It only takes a couple secs normally. There it is. Okay, so now it's textured. You can continue to improve the appearance, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing right now, but just know you can. Let's kind of orient this 3D model. We'll turn it so that you can kind of get a grasp of where we're at up on Grizzly Peak, looking down that little wash. Okay, so if we're going to go high quality, and we'll increase the field of view so it's larger here so you can see it better. These things are kind of hard to manipulate, sorry. But you get the idea. This is the 3D model. Within 3D model, there are tools and you can measure, but it's kind of difficult to use. Probably needs some improvement, although you can export it and do it in other softwares as well from here. But anyway, this is the 3D model and it's the final component. So really we've covered the orthophoto, plant health, the surface model, the terrain model, and the 3D model. So that quickly sums up the value of drone photogrammetry. It's an effective tool for checking vegetation health, mapping, and planning projects. and securing accurate before, during, and after records. To me, that's the thing. If you really record the before, during, and after, or at least the before and after of a project, it'll create tremendous records. Um, and that's all I have for you today. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it.